So let's get right into.
Let's do it. We got a lot of football to talk about.
No surprise what the lead story is. Niners Saints. Seems like once a year now we get a game. I'm thinking back last year, Chiefs Rams. We're just like, please don't end. Please keep going. Please keep scoring points.
Sure. I don't love those kind of games.
Really?
I don't.
Why?
Because I don't know. I'm old school. I like a good old 28-24 game.
I hear you.
You know,
but if it was every week, it would get old.
It would get old.
It's not every week.
No, you're right. It's very rare that it comes like that. And I think this one was more fun to me than Saints Chiefs from last year. Chiefs Rams. Excuse me. I think, first off, that these two defenses are still top-notch. I think what we saw yesterday was a little bit more mastery and wizardry from the play callers to where I didn't go away going, oh, that's bad defense. I went, holy shit, what a play that was. Like, are you kidding me designing that? I just came away saying that more times than not, to where Shanahan, Sean Payton were just on fire with some of the game plan designs they had.
With Shanahan, and he's been good almost every single game in calling plays.
Right.
You've been way out in front of this one. The way it went down yesterday, the amount of creativity, the amount of different kind of run plays and pass plays and trickery. Do you think it was because of necessity? Because he knew, I got to empty it all out to have a chance of beating this guy in this building?
Yeah.
Or was it some showmanship in that, I'm up against another guy who might be the best play caller in the game, and I'm going to outdo him?
I think it's very fair to think it's both a little bit. Certainly, there's the competitive part of any play caller. I think Kyle has aspirations, and not that he's told me this, but I just know Kyle because I've known Kyle for a long time. He wants to be the best play caller in the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sean Payton probably already thinks he is, and he's the man that way. So I think there is something there, too. I also think Shanahan realized that going into that environment, playing in the Superdome, which is definitely one of the toughest places to play in all of football, and it's very hard to stop that Saints offense when they're in there and on their game, that he probably knew he needed a few more tricks than normal, a few more creative game plan, you know, up your butt type plays to screw them over. And even for Kyle Shanahan, who you know I gush about on a weekly basis, I thought this game was above and beyond just aggressive and creative.
I normally think of creative with pass formations and the kind of plays, but the run game creativity was there as well yesterday. Which one do you think made a bigger difference in the win?
The run game creativity, I do, because I think a lot of the big pass plays we saw off of it were off of the run game creativity, play action pass, whatever it may be that way. He does such a great job of tying it all together. And, you know, hey, we saw, you know, fake run, toss to Deebo Samuel around the edge, you know, give the ball to the running back, fake the toss to Deebo Samuel. You know, another one where we're going to give the ball to Juszczyk and fake the toss, and then he's going to come out the back door and do an option pitch to Mostert down the sideline. You know, I mean, there's just so many plays.
Top two running backs in any game, but in that building against that defense, 16 carries for 123 yards.
Yeah. That's big time.
Who else is going to go down there and do that?
Well,
who else has
that? Yeah, you're right. I don't know if anybody can go down there and do that. You know, what it will take, and this is where Shanahan's brilliant again, and where, you know, we've seen anybody that's had any success running on the Saints is you can't run at the Saints. If you think you're going to run up the middle on the New Orleans Saints and that group they got down there, you're crazy.
They did a little bit. They did just enough.
They did just enough. And if you think back about what they did too, though, early on it was all on the edge. It was edge, 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 edge. And then they kind of spread you out. And then he starts to hit you up the middle that way. That's kind of the brilliance of his game plan overall, at least against a team like this, I thought. You know, but yes, I mean, he's gonna run the ball between the tackles. It's just a matter of when, and does he feel comfortable he's getting the looks and things like that to when he turns the corner there. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, if we were gonna hit the 49ers O, Saints D, and just break into that more than anything, it is the unbelievable, and we'll get to Sean Payton in a second, the assault of schemes. Sean is an assault in a different way, okay? So Sean Payton's an assault of, I got a million different formations and personnel packages, and we're just going to 5 yards here, 6 yards here. Kamara on a swing one-on-one with your guys. Your guy going to make the tackle. I'm going to get a formation where Michael Thomas is open over the middle, and he's going to be one-on-one. And can you make the tackle to make it a 5-yard gain, or is he going to break the tackle and go for 20? Shanahan is an assault of schemes where it's just like, Whoa, this guy's going that way. Whoa, that guy's going this way. Whoa, it's a play action face. Oh, no, there's a guy behind me for a 20-yard. Every play is looking for 20 and 30-yard gains. That's the difference, I think, between Peyton and Breeze and Garoppolo and Shanahan. They are looking for explosive chunk plays almost every time they drop back to pass. And the run game, the same thing. They're looking to gash you. It's never like, hey, we're going to run it up the middle here for 3 yards. It's like, oh, it's boring. You know, we'll do that later on in the game when we've gashed them around the edge a few times.
Right, and I think that the numbers of the top 2 receivers reflect that. If you look at what the Saints do, and we'll get into their offense more, it's much more conservative.
Right.
They often will get less than 10 yards on a completion, and that's good. That's exactly what they're looking for.
Right.
You look at the top 2 receivers for San Francisco, Sanders and I'm drawing
Deebo Samuel.
Yes.
All right.
Well over 12, 13 yards per catch.
Right, right.
So
that
maybe
speaks
it's
to
not
it, right?
chunks every time, but there's a major difference in how they produce and how they're successful.
Without a doubt. The 49ers, when they drop back, especially off the play action game, they're really, the play is always designed to go 25, 30, 40 yards downfield. And then the fail-safe, oh, no, nothing's there, is going to get you 5 yards.
Right.
But that, I mean, I think you said it. First off, these two are special. I mean, they're weapons. Deebo Samuel's a weapon. You know, you talked about his yards per catch, 5 for 76. Then he's got a few runs, 2 for 33 that way.
Sanders was 7 for 157. So I digress. Those two combined were close to 20 yards per catch.
Right. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable.
Crazy.
Right. And you know, to where it's a little different. And again, this is where, you know, Drew Brees and lack of arm strength comes into play a little bit as far as the comparison to Garoppolo and Shanahan. You know, let's just think about it this way. This is where Shanahan's great. It's 20-7. They're down. He runs a play where we showed this play a few weeks ago when they played the Cardinals, and he ran a big screen to Richie James where basically instead of Richie James coming in motion, they fake the speed sweep to Kittle. He fakes the ball to the running back. They roll out to the right like they're doing a normal bootleg. But instead of Emmanuel Sanders, who usually runs a corner route on this type of play, he goes to the corner and then the post. Bam, they hit the 75-yard touchdown pass, and all of a sudden it's 20-14. Those, to me, were some of the biggest moments of the football game because you're going, uh-oh, are the 49ers going to be able to answer?
Right.
New Orleans has got them. They're in trouble.
Right.
And then New Orleans scored again to go up 27-14. You're going, can the 49ers just go down the field and answer again in this environment? I mean, we haven't seen Jimmy G have to do this yet. Can he do it? And they mount a little drive, and then what happens? It's the pitch to Emmanuel Sanders, and he throws the ball for the touchdown. And all of a sudden it's 27-20, and you go, okay, they've weathered the storm. And they weathered the storm because of Shanahan's game planning to kind of get them through a few dull moments or, you know, the momentum of the Superdome when the Saints is jumping on you. And he had the ability not only to dial up the play in the right situation, but just the vision during the week to have these type of plays to go, you know, when my team's struggling or we're in a tough moment, I'm going to have these in my pocket to go to it to kind of re-jumpstart us and get us back in the game.
It's the kind of game planning and the kind of variety with the creativity and formations and plays and playmakers that can put a defense on its heels.
Definitely.
I did think in comparing the two that the Saints were more aggressive.
Yeah.
They more often would have 5-6 guys on the line. You're like, I don't know who's coming.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But it never really got the better of the Niners offense as often as they tried.
No, a little bit of a lull there maybe in the early fourth quarter where, you know, they were down, the Saints were down 42-33, and I think you're exactly right. The Saints kind of just said, okay, we've taken away nothing in this game so far. We're kind of trying to play both, and like we're just getting gashed. And I think to what you're saying, and I think you're spot on because I wrote this in the end of my notes, they basically just said, all right, we're going to start playing some bear front, and we're going to play aggressive on the back man. They beat us with some man-to-man plays or whatever. They beat us, but we're not going to get like gashed by the run and the pass game at the same time and really stop nothing. So they made a few stops when they were down 42-33 to get back in the game, and then of course go up 45-42. And I think it's to your point is they just became more aggressive. They said a little bit of like, okay, it. We're just going to make this a fight. We're going to come after you. We're going to put 5 D linemen on the field across, you know. And to me, those are some of the cool chess matches, too. You know, I mean, there's so many things to talk about in this game. It's really even hard to get to it.
You kind of brought us to a great jumping off point, though. You talk about the game's now in the 40s.
Right.
We're talking about the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Let's get into the fourth down play. Perhaps, I mean, definitely the biggest play of the game.
Sure.
Maybe the signature play of the entire NFL season so far. 4th down and 2. The big conversion, I think, 39 yards from Garoppolo to Kittle.
Yep. I mean, like in the old play, that's an old West Coast play. But Kyle does it a little bit more in a creative way than we used to do it with John Gruden. It would have been like Y shift to bunch left, 73 scat, Y option, smoke on the backside. They basically ran like a slant flat concept. But
in layman's terms, they're on the right hash.
They're on the right hash.
They've got trips to the left, but it's not spread out trips. It's a tight trips.
Right, tight trips. It's a true bunch to the left.
Bunch,
yes.
Right to the left.
Yes.
And with George Kittle just a little bit inside, he was kind of like the inside in those three.
Exactly right. He's the inside of the three. He's off the line of scrimmage. I did a little diagram for social media last night right after the game because people always want to know about it. So there you got, the bunch to the left that you talked about. Garoppolo's in the shotgun. Bourne, who's the guy, the point man of the bunch, right? I couldn't see on the TV version what he ran. He runs a straight go. On this little diagram, I had him running an in cut. So it was a straight go, okay? So I was wrong there, but I knew I was somewhere in there. And then on the outside of the bunch is Emmanuel Sanders. He runs a shallow cross. If they got some crazy blitz, he could throw to him, right? And go, here's a shallow cross, get the ball. Maybe you can get the first down on the 4th and 2. But what they really did with two-man coverage is now two guys have kind of cleared out some space, right, for George Kittle, who's in the inside of that bunch package, to now he comes out with a little bit of an arc release, right, a wide release, and he's matched up on the rookie Gardner Johnson, 22, who's in a very tough spot.
Yes.
They ran this play earlier in the game, but they ran it out of a little different formation. But nonetheless, Kittle does a great job of arc releasing, pushing upfield. Gardner Johnson does a decent job.
Right.
But Kittle has a two-way option, and these are tough to stop. And the Saints, they do a ton of this too. I'm sure Gardner Johnson's had Alvin Kamara run this on him before, right?
Yeah.
But he knows, oh no, I got to protect the inside a little bit here because I have nobody inside to help me. And if you hit that, then you're going, whoa, he's running and, it's a 50-yard gain. I know it ends up being a big gain either way, but he has to protect that to a degree, and he does. And Kittle gives him a little shimmy inside just to make him stop for a second, and then breaks out, and Garoppolo throws a great ball, and he breaks up the sideline and breaks a tackle and gets face masked, and that was it. Game over.
While I was watching that play for maybe the 14th or 15th time this morning and watching you draw it up there, it's a little bit like deja vu. This is the second time in the last month we've been talking about NFC game. 4th down, critical moment late in the game with someone lined up to the inside, out cut to the sideline. Remember Zeke Elliott against the Vikings?
Against the Vikings, right.
It didn't work. And two things come to mind, and tell me if you think that I'm thinking about this the right way. Number one, the Niners are on the right hash. So the outbreaking cut, you've got that extra 6 or 7 yards.
Got more room.
Huge difference.
No doubt.
Think about how close to the sideline he was when he caught that. Remember, Zeke kind of ran out of room a little bit. And number two, you're going with a guy running an outbreaking route who's a professional route runner.
No doubt about that.
That's what he does in practice. That's what he's paid to do in a game. And you mentioned the little shimmy, the little hesitation. He set him up perfectly in a way that you can't really expect a running back to do.
No, exactly right. There's little nuances that a real route runner needs to know and has the patience in a moment like that to go, I'm not going to rush it. Because most receivers, young running backs, that way.
In that situation.
They rush it. They go, I got to be really quick, and they break out, and they give the guy covering them telltale signs. Also before the snap, they motioned George Kittle over there to make sure they were getting the coverage they wanted, right? So let's make sure it's two-man or man-to-man.
Let's have them tell us what they're playing.
And then to have them on the inside of the bunch is another advantage that Kittle would have over Ezekiel Elliott or the Dallas Cowboys, because now the guy covering George Kittle, he's got two guys kind of in his way as the ball is snapped, because there's a guy crossing his face and Emmanuel Sanders, and Bourne's going upfield. So there's more traffic to fight for. He's got more to think about and react to, and it was just it's a better well-designed play. It's just easier that way.
And knowing Kyle Shanahan as well as you know him, during that timeout,
do
you think he had like this play circled and highlighted and starred, 4th and short, critical down, this is my play?
Yes.
Or does he have a section of really good plays?
Yeah, I think he's probably got a section of about 10 plays, like gotta have it type plays. That's usually that might be actually the gotta have it, right? Gotta have it plays. And then I wouldn't be shocked within the gotta have it plays if somebody like Kyle, because I know Josh McDaniels had this and I know John Gruden had it, where in the gotta have it plays, he's almost got his own special plays for Kittle within that to go because this is my go-to player, and I'm going to have 4 or 5 just for him in the gotta-have-it situation, let alone some other guys.
Yeah, I think they tried to get it to him on 3rd down as well.
Yes, and you know what? Let me just make sure. On the 3rd down play, I'm right here anyways. He ran over the middle. Exactly right. And you know that was a similar play too. It's really kind of an option route. It really was. It was a similar option route. The Saints played it well, and they got a little pressure on Garoppolo, and he couldn't throw the ball accurately. But you know, the game, so many different things to talk about. You know, I think just again with
I would love to get your specific thoughts on Garoppolo.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Under the heading of people were willing to pat him on the back. Hey, your team's playing well, but it's because of your defense. I need to see, and I'm kind of paraphrasing what I hear from people.
I think that's very real.
I need to see more from you.
Right.
I don't not trust you, but I don't totally trust you either.
Right.
So it was a giant moment for him, not only at the end of the game, but really the entire 4 quarters.
Agreed.
And you walked away thinking what?
I went away thinking the 49ers are the best team in football, and that they're going to win the Super Bowl. That's what I walked away. That's how I feel about them. I do. I mean, that was a big question for me. Was Jimmy Garoppolo, could he deliver in those moments when the team wasn't dominating, when the run game might not be dominating? You're right. The defense wasn't playing well. The run game was doing well, but they sputtered in the first half, and they were down 20-7.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're down 27-14. And, yeah, did his coach give them some help on some plays? Okay, sure. But, I mean, I don't like it. I heard that a few times early this morning already. Well,
every quarterback who's been successful has had an awesome play.
I mean, I can go. Well, then we got to go back and take Super Bowls away from Tom Brady because they run a ton of trick plays. And Joe Montana. Right. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
His coach helped him. But I think the big thing is he delivered in big moments. He was totally not fazed by the magnitude of the moment. That's what I would be more happy about than anything if I was a 49ers coach or the fans. He never looked like, oh, no, deer in the headlights, like, oh, I'm panicked. It's the Saints and Drew Brees, and I'm on the road, and I can't win. Like, he never had that moment to me. Yeah. He was very calm throughout, and even in those last few moments, it just seemed like he was playing within himself, playing pitch and catch. He made through 1 interception, and I think the encouraging thing about that is he saw it right. The guy was open, Emmanuel Sanders. He just let him too much. Emmanuel Sanders sticks out his hand. The ball pops in the air. Mistakes happen.
Should have
caught it. Yeah, he'd like to throw a better ball too.
Right.
Shit happens. It's the NFL. So, I mean, that's not going to be the last time that happens. So even the mistake, though, what I'm saying, was not egregious to where I go, oh, I'm concerned. Like, he threw that ball into triple coverage. How do you do that at this point of the season? So big-time moment for Jimmy Garoppolo. Deserves a lot of credit. And really, that was the final question I needed to be answered by the San Francisco 49ers. Yes.
This morning, I went through and watched one of the times I watched this game, just only watching Jimmy Garoppolo with the thought in mind of how much Kyle Shanahan has helped him.
Right.
And you've talked about Sean McVay and Jared Goff, that the system's a little better than the quarterback. You haven't said that about the Niners, but I feel like you like Shanahan's game a little bit more than Garoppolo's.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I watched just with that in mind one time this morning. 3 observations.
Yeah.
See if you agree or not. Number 1, and I'm thinking about things that he does in addition, or I guess to enhance what Kyle Shanahan does as a play caller. Number 1, his accuracy on the in-breaking routes.
Right. Some of those throws early on,
yards, not just yesterday, but the last 2 or 3 weeks has been
on point.
On.
Right. That's why we see Deebo Samuel and Emmanuel Sanders like running like a bat out of hell after they catch the ball because they don't have to break a stride.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think that's been really good.
Yes.
Number 2, he's made a couple of plays outside the scheme.
Yeah.
Rolling out to his left, throwing back across his body for the touchdown.
For the touchdown? Come on.
A 3rd and 2 late in the game running. So he's done a little bit more to add on recently.
100%.
There's an add-on category in addition to the gotta-have-it category on the play calling sheet. And this is much smaller. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. But with the number of things they do in the run game, with the quick pitches and the fakes, I think his ball handling is terrific.
Off the charts good. I agree. It is. His play-action fakes are good. His ability, there's never a mistake on ball handling, whether it's a speed sweep, pulling for the, we're running the read option, bootleg, whatever it is. It all seems to go very smooth. I'm with you.
Yeah.
He's a very cool customer.
Yeah.
He really is. I had people before the game going, do you think Jimmy G will be flustered by this moment? I said, and I mean this in all the respectful way possible. He's just the right type of meathead to be a quarterback and not even think about the magnitude of the moment.
Explain that a little bit. I mean, that resonates with me.
Yeah, right. He's not too much of an intricate he's not. I don't think he's sitting there thinking like deep thoughts like you know, what's the square root of 742?
Right.
I've always wondered that. Like he's not. He's kind of just like, oh, he's open. I'll throw it. Your coach, you said throw it to him. Sure, I'll throw it to him. And I know he doesn't talk like that, but I'm giving meathead quarterback talk.
I'll take it. You familiar with the movie Airplane?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. Yes.
There was some scene in there where they were going to go get Ted Stryker.
Right.
The guy was talking about him. He goes, he's a guy who always felt a little too much on the inside. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy you'd say he's feeling too much on the inside. He's just playing.
I agree. He's just playing. He was around Tom Brady in New England. So I think he got to see how that operated and how cool Tom is in the clutch, right, and that. So that resonates. I'll tell you another context clue that gives me, like, he doesn't really give a damn or always know the gravity of the situation. The guy went on a date with a porn star.
Hey.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. He wasn't very self-aware there.
Check in the plus column or minus column?
Well, it's a plus to me when you can play like you did yesterday and go out with the porn star. You're having a great year, okay?
How did you meet her?
I have no idea. But, you know, I mean, that's not exactly what, like, you know, an owner or a coach of a team want to see their leading, you know, face of the franchise. Oh, he's out with a porn star tonight. Really? Really? So I think that even tells you a little bit of the guy where he's just like, he's a little oblivious to that stuff. He doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, coach, just tell me the play and I'll run it, and don't you worry, if he's open, I'll hit it. Right. And I'm all for that at quarterback. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Yeah, he's got a very compact delivery.
Yeah.
He can get it out quick. And, you know, yeah, it was a great day by him, a great day by Kyle Shanahan and what he did. I will say this, just while we're on that side of the ball. I did not like the pass interference call by Gardner Johnson on the third down that led to the score to make it 42-33. Hit a George Kittle over the middle. They're going to get a sack on Garoppolo. They call him for holding. I didn't love that. And then later on in the drive, he threw the ball to Juszczyk in the flat after he broke the pocket, and the Gardner Johnson got the late hit while he was on the ground. I didn't love either one of those penalties. You know, I mean, again, in those situations, I think you just got to let guys play a little bit. That bothered me about it. But either way, he was phenomenal. Shanahan was phenomenal.
How about some Saints offense?
Yeah, let's do it.
Saints offense? Yep. All right. So 46 points, they lose. And this image I have in my mind recently of the Niners defense, I mean, think about what Aaron Rodgers looked like against them.
Right.
I mean, it was complete mismatch.
Complete mismatch.
No chance.
Right.
And even though the Seahawks beat them, it was so difficult for Russell Wilson. That was an MVP kind of performance just to find a way to score a little bit.
A little bit. And let's not even forget how they scored. I mean, they scored with short field after short field because the defense set them up at the 10-yard line, the 15-yard line. The defense scored a touchdown.
Right.
So it was tough sledding for Russell Wilson as well.
It has at times seemed almost impossible for a quarterback and an offense to look good for 4 quarters against this defense. So the Saints go with 46 points. And when you think about what they want to do and their identity, it looked exactly like New Orleans, like the way they've always done it.
Right.
My point is the Niners didn't throw them off really at all for a large part of that game. Why?
They did not. Well, I you know, one of the first things I wrote in my notes early on was just it's an assault of personnel, formations, and scheme. Like it's
was it new? I mean,
not new. You know, no, not new. Little creative ways to do a few different things here and there. But you know, I just think as a defensive player, you know, okay. It's 1 back, 2 tight ends. Okay, it's 1 back, 1 tight end. Oh, it's 2 backs, 1 tight end. Oh, wait, now they're split out, an empty formation. What? And, you know, all those things lead to a team that is aggressive to now thinking and playing on their heels just a little bit more, let alone, oh, now it's a motion. Oh, set hut, Drew Brees is looking over here. Oh, he did a great job looking me off because now Alvin Kamara is wide open over here. So they're surgical in their attack that way. That's where they're a little different than the 49ers. That's where I was getting to a little bit before. The 49ers are just dialing them up and let's gash them. Jimmy, I told you all week, I'm going to dial up this play and we're going to get them in this defense and you just throw it in there. And Sean Payton's a little bit like, okay, I'm going to dial it up and formation them. Drew, you look over here, and if you just throw an accurate pass over here, we'll manipulate the coverage. We'll get 6 yards guaranteed, and we'll just keep staying ahead of the chains. And they do that, and they do that, and they do that. And then teams get frustrated, and they start to play closer to the line of scrimmage, and then, bam, it's you know, Jared Cook on a seam route or something like that. That's where they're different that way. They're looking more to just surgically attack you with an occasional aggressive throw down the field. You know, aggressive throws with Drew Brees right now, they're not going to happen happen a whole lot, but we saw a few of them yesterday that made the difference in the game and kept them in the game and got them out to a big start early on.
Right. He was well over 70% and around 12 yards for completion, which for the Saints offense means they're clicking along very well. No other team has had this kind of consistent success against the Niners defense throughout the game. So you know that, like, the Seahawks play them in Week 17. The teams they have coming up, they're going to watch. Okay, we don't have Drew Brees, we don't have Sean Payton, but we're going to learn from this. We're going to see what went well. What can another team pluck and put into their game plan?
Well, I think the thing that they can then pluck more than anything is, you know, steal some of the plays, especially like the 2 touchdowns to Jared Cook and stuff like that, where when you know San Francisco's playing that Seattle scheme, you know, that's what they did. They stressed out the rules of the Seattle scheme on those plays. Is a 3-deep match coverage. So it's like it's a 3-deep zone, but if there's somebody in your zone, you match up and play him man-to-man to a certain area, and then you let him go into the next guy's zone where he'll match up against him. And that's what they did really with both Jared Cook touchdowns to get off 14-0. You know, they one time stressed out the linebacker Fred Warner underneath. He was supposed to get back and cover Jared Cook as he crosses the field, but he saw Alvin Kamara and he saw Mike Thomas in a tight split, so they were both there in his vision. He's going, oh, it's Alvin Kamara, it's Mike Thomas. They're going to go to him. And his bright lights just went so much on Alvin Kamara, he forgot to look over to the other side and, oh, man, there's a guy coming into my area. I need to cover him. So you know, again, I'm not concerned with, I guess where I would go with this, I'm not concerned with either one of these defenses. I still think they're going to be top-notch because neither one of these defenses is going to have to play an offense like this again the rest of the year. These are special offenses. There's no weakness to either one of the offenses. I mean, the one weakness we talked about, the 49ers, can Garoppolo, you know, come through in the clutch? If there's a weakness to the Saints, it's, can Drew Brees stretch the defense out consistently? But, you know, with the Taysom Hill factor, when they bring him in, and then Drew just pushing the ball down the field here and there, they can kind of overcome that. But I just don't know. You know, you go through both of these offenses. Top 5 offensive line, check. Stable at running backs, check. You know, great ways to move the chains, whether it's play action, drop back pass, check. They got that. And then, you know, quarterbacks who can wheel and deal and deliver and do the right thing. So, you know, again, I don't know if there's another offense in the NFC that can really replicate the attack that either one of these can do to each other's defense, I guess is my biggest point.
One concern I do have, Kamara, 17 touches, 43 yards. Aberration or reason to be like, you know what, this guy's not as effective as you want him to be?
No, I think, you know, the 49ers with their athletic linebackers and things like that were very aware of him coming out of the backfield, did a good job for the most part of rallying, tackling him when they needed to. You know, the 49ers are, of course, tough to run the ball on, so that was just a struggle regardless. I mean, the rushing stats for the Saints are a little misleading. You know, it's 7 for 69. Murray had a few runs here and there. He had a big chunk of it right at the end of the half when the first half was about to be over. I'm not concerned. They're going to find ways to get him the ball. Now, I will say him fumbling the ball there in the third quarter, that was a big moment in the game. You know, the fake punt, that was a big moment in the game. You know, there was special teams as a part of, we're not going to talk about a lot, but, you know, that little f***er 11, what the hell's his name?
Assumption College.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a weapon. I mean, he set them up for 2 short fields. You know, they give him a speed sweep. He rips off a bunch of yards. What the hell's his name? Deontay Harris. Thank you, Demalelitis. And, you know, the special teams factor did play into the game, not only him setting them up, but then, of course, the fake punt, which I don't understand on 4th and 18. I don't get it. And I have questions about that play altogether. Ballsy, dumb, I don't know. What do you want to say? I don't know what that is. I almost want to go, I almost question whether Sean Payton knew the rule. I think he thought like, hey, I think we'll just throw a go route on 4th and 18 and we'll get pass interference. I'm just saying, I could be totally wrong.
With 18 yards to get.
I could be totally wrong, but I just questioned it. It made me think whether he knew that rule or not.
It is a little-known rule. I mean, it's...
I know. I didn't know it either. I can't lie. I was sitting there. Coach Dungy was the first one to spit it out. And I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. I remember hearing that a few years back, and it hadn't come up. And, you know, that was a big point in the game because, you know, I believe that was, at that point it was, I just want to make sure I got this right, 35-33. And it gave the 49ers the short field to then go up 42-33 and put together that drive. And, you know, there's just something I look at. But either way, Brees played awesome. Michael Thomas was awesome. You know, Brees early in the game came out somewhat aggressive to those touchdown passes to Jared Cook, and then they got away from it. They never really threw a ball down the field again until the last drive of the game.
Did the Niners defense, after those 4 consecutive touchdown drives, make any kind of adjustment?
Yeah, played a little bit more man-to-man. I think that was probably the biggest thing I saw more than anything. And both defenses had a moment of kind of settling in, like, okay, I mean, there's only so many ways you could trick us with runs and formations and things like that, to where, you know, hey, the guys up front started to disrupt a little bit, get pressure on the quarterback. Both teams started to blitz a little here and there just to, you know, move the quarterback, stress the pocket that way. But, you know, overall, it was a really well-played game. If they play again, I would be shocked if it was points like this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They play again in January for the NFC Championship. It's going to go back to being like a 24-21, 27-24 type of game, I think, yeah.
And we are back to even with our big stakes betting here because I took the over.
You took the over.
Yeah, so
damn, I know.
Starting out with a level playing field.
Good job by you. Good job by you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.